Carter, and I'm here with Phillip from Baby Giant Barbell. Phillip, thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate it. We just wanted to kind of do a little bit of a home gym chat, kind of go over a few topics that we wanted to get into that we thought would be pretty entertaining and fun. So, Phillip, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and your channel for the viewers who haven't seen your stuff?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So my name is Philip, like you said, and I'm with Baby Giant Barbell. Started it actually when I hurt myself. I, tore my right pec and wanted to be part of this community because I couldn't lift at the time. So I figured I would talk about working out until I could work out again. And so I started this channel and named it Baby Giant Barbell because I had a buddy at one point that gave me that nickname. I'm not quite a giant, but I'm still large. So he said,
Right.
"You're kind of like a baby giant." And that's where that stuck. I said, baby giant, that sounds like a cool name. And so I made it that, made the little logo,
Yeah.
drew that up and kind of had it created. And, here we are. So glad to be here, man.
Cool. Yeah, I love the logo, man. I like the name too.
Thanks. Thanks.
So I guess we'll kind of segue into the first question then. It's kind of when and why did you start your home gym? So I guess go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that the reason I started it would definitely not be original to me. Like a lot of people, a few years ago during the virus, I was locked out of my commercial gym, the one that I have trained in for, I
Yeah.
would say, 8 or 9 years. And up until that point, it had never occurred to me that that could be taken away from me, that lifting weights and exercising, could be taken away from me by somebody else. And so I started a home gym because at the time, this actually I told this story somewhere else too, that'll come out soon. But when I got locked out of my gym, I was working overnight. At the time, I had just gotten married, and so my wife would go to work. I'd come home from work after an overnight shift, and I would actually drive over to my parents' house and work out on the power tech that I used when I was a
Awesome.
teenager, which was incredibly uncomfortable. It was a very strange experience doing that 4 or 5 times a week,
Yeah.
for months. And it definitely made me want to have my own space. So
Yeah.
that kind of planted the bug in my brain. I decided that I would just kind of start with some dumbbells, maybe some quick lock dumbbells, and a bench, and it slowly got out of hand. So here we are in this little, I guess,
You,
strength and conditioning facility that I've created for myself, and I love every minute of
you can kind of get a little out of hand, huh?
it. It definitely can. It
To us,
definitely
it's kind
can.
of normal. But when I talk to like normal people, they're like,
Mhm.
what's going on? You have a commercial facility in your basement. And they don't get
Right.
it. But for us home gym guys, it's just the way it goes. It kind of snowballs, right?
It does. It does. Well, it definitely starts with, having one piece or the essentials. You quickly see how you can make it better. That leads you down a bad rabbit hole. I
Right.
feel like you were about to say something about that.
Because there's always something bigger and better and more expensive.
Hmm. Yes,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, I started mine in 2019. So before, the pandemic and stuff. And
Hmm.
I was glad it did but I started mine, I was working two jobs at the time. And I was just looking to save time. I didn't want to have to go back and forth to the gym. And my gym would get so busy. It gets really busy in this area. So even if I did go to the gym, I'd be in there for 2, maybe 3 hours trying to, waiting for equipment. I just got really
Right.
tired of that. I said, man, if I can just get, a few pieces, I can get a solid workout in and just keep it moving because I was just grinding, working two jobs for like a year and a half. So
Mm.
that's why I started mine. Um, and then I'll kind of get into the next question I was going to ask you is, what were the first few pieces you got for your home gym that you felt were the essentials? And yeah, I'll let you go, and then I'll go ahead and tag along after you.
Yeah. So, funny enough, I actually started with a deadlift platform before I got like anything else. So, at the time, it was hard to get equipment, and I wanted a power rack, a barbell, a bench, weights, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I was, I want to start somewhere. I want to get this ball rolling. And so I went to Home Depot and got the materials to make a deadlift platform with my dad. And so, that was an all day project one Sunday that, I had off. And, we went and got those materials and made that. By that night, I had a deadlift platform. And that was really the first thing. I ordered a power rack shortly after that. So I had a power rack and a deadlift platform. And after that, I believe, if I remember correctly, I don't remember what I got first, but a bench and a bar and plates kind of came after that. Those are my first few pieces.
Basics. Yeah, I love that deadlift platform you got. That's awesome. It's kind of one thing
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had here, but not sure if it makes sense down here. I got the bumper plates and stuff. I just kind of use those. When
Hmm.
people tripping over the platform, I really don't have anywhere to put it, but other than in front of the stairs, and
Yeah.
that could get dangerous. But I think I started
Yeah.
off with I don't know if you've ever seen the Hulk Fit racks on Amazon. They're just like the yellow ones. I think Walmart has a version of them too. But it was just a
Uh-huh.
squat stand. It was something like, dude, it was before the pandemic and stuff, so stuff was still pretty cheap. I think I got
Right.
that thing for like under $200.
Wow.
Had like a 700-pound capacity. Like it was nothing special, but it got the job done. And I actually started my gym back in that smaller space where my power rack used to be. I don't know if you remember those days, but it's just an 8 by 10 space. So very small space. I wasn't really looking to build this big elaborate gym or anything. I just wanted to kind of get in, get it done, and be done with it. So I started with the squat stand, a barbell, bumper plates, I think, because I didn't want to damage my floors back there in that area. It's a tile floor, so that was pretty the first things, and then I got some power blocks, and then it just started snowballing after that.
I'm just curious, when you first built it out, was it made to be a spot that you could maybe work out sometimes, like when you didn't go to the gym, or how did you just go like head in,
Yeah.
full send?
I think I did still like for like leg day. I think I still would go to the gym occasionally
Hmm.
when I had time. But it wasn't long before I just was exclusively working out at home because I just liked it so much. I'm playing my own music. I have my own equipment. I can get my workout done in 45 minutes and be done. So yeah, it wasn't long before I just was exclusively working out at home.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question is, what would you do differently if you could start over? Like, is there some kind of piece that you bought that you don't necessarily use as much as you thought you would, or just anything really you would do over if you were starting from scratch tomorrow?
Yeah. So there's not too much that I would do differently. I mean, I do like the way I have it set up in here, but I think one thing that I would do differently is I would have built an 8 foot by 8 foot platform and put my power rack on it, as opposed to a 4 foot by 8 foot platform. In one area of the gym and then my power rack in the other area, um, because I wanted that feeling of like a strength and conditioning center with its own platform. That's why I built a platform. That's why I put it there. But it does leave a pretty small space in the middle where I can do any kind of like dumbbell work. And that does get a little cramped sometimes. So it would be cool to be able to kind of push my power rack back and have more of an open space to do any kind of, if I wanted to do some kind of burpees, which probably will never happen, but I could do them if I had more open space. So I would say that would be my main regret. As far as anything else, man, just having a bigger space in general, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're always limited by space, I guess, eventually. Your space is a little bit bigger than mine, but so
Hmm.
I ran into some space limitations pretty quickly, but uh,
Yeah.
like for a while, it was that little area, and then it kind of spilled over into the larger area of my basement. And then, I had to make some adjustments when I had everything stored up in the spare room upstairs. And then when the baby was coming, I was like, man, I got to free up that room now. So I was all
Hmm.
confined to this little area in the basement now, but it gets the job done though. But
Yeah.
I think I'd
Yeah.
probably, if I had to do it over, like I said, the first weights that I bought were the bumper plates. And
Hmm.
my reasoning behind that was it was back there in those tile floors, and if I dropped the weight, I think it'd be less likely to, bust up the tile back there. And I wasn't much into like the home gym community or anything really back then, so I really didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about home gyms and what to buy. They just weren't really big yet. So I probably
Hmm.
wouldn't buy a whole set of bumper plates. I think the 45s come in handy for deadlifting down here since I don't have a platform, but I don't think I need a whole set of bumper plates. Like I rarely use, the smaller plates very much. So I probably just buy a pair of 45s and call it there. Um, and then as far as maybe like aesthetics, I probably would have taken the time to like paint, maybe like the walls like a darker color, like black or something. Usually looks pretty nice when I see some gyms online. Um, but I'm not doing that now. It'd be just too much of a pain. I think I'll wait until we'll probably move eventually, and then I can, kind of do that start from scratch thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, when you just said something about your bumper plates, it did make me think about the fact that I have those road deep dishes, and it's fantastic, but I did not foresee myself making such a jump on deadlifts at the time, and was thinking, hey, six pairs of 45s, that'll last me a while, and I'm starting to run into some pretty serious space constraints on the bar
Yeah,
with those deep dishes. And I love them. They're pretty plates. They are, very easy to grab. But man, don't try to do anything over 600 pounds on deadlift, especially with the deadlift bar, because yeah,
yeah.
that's making it kind of tough.
You'll have to upgrade to those weighted out plates, the real thin ones, or the competition plates. You know.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So next question is, what advice would you give someone looking to just start their home gym? I guess any kind of mistakes you see people make, or just helpful information I think that people could use when starting their home gym.
I would say that you should consider your lighting first and foremost. I mean, it's such a cheap thing that makes such a big difference. I mean, I have the $60 pair of LED strip lights in here, and man, I didn't have those for a while. And like I said, I'm at one point in the past, like I felt like Edgar Allan Poe in here between sets. Like, man, it was just depressing, man. It was,
Right.
and when I got that lighting, it just completely transformed the space. And
Right.
I found myself overnight wanting to like actually hang out in here and not just come in here, get it done as fast as I could, and then like
Right.
go back inside. So I would definitely say my first tip would be lighting. And my second tip would be, man, just like get as good quality stuff as you can.
Right.
Really take stock of whether you want a home gym. And I feel like I don't like to generalize, but I would say in most cases, to have a home gym, you have to be a I get to work out person and not a I have to work out person.
Right.
You have to intrinsically like have it in you that you enjoy doing it, not it's something you have to get done. Because it can get lonely if you're in here and you're in a bad mood, if you're in a bad place. It can just be like, man, this is terrible. But if you get in here and you're having a good session and like you're vibing, you're listening to your music, and like you can just be who you want to be in your space
Right.
and with yourself, then like there's so much potential there. And I've had some of the best sessions that I've ever had in my life in here just
Right.
because it just built to that like awesome time. So, you gotta wanna do it and not have to do it. And it can be not cool, but it can be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I agree. Definitely get in the zone. Um, yeah, I think. Yeah, I could see what you're saying about really researching it and getting stuff that you really feel like you'd have a long time, more expensive stuff, better quality stuff. Like I said, I started off with that Hulk Fit one, but I really didn't know if I was going to use the home gym that much. I've heard of so many people building their home gym and then just not using it. They got stuff in the basement, a weight bench in the basement, and they never use it. I wasn't
Mm,
sure if I was going to like that, training by myself at home, but pretty quickly I saw like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And then I saw how much equipment there was out there and how much better stuff there is. And I was like, oh, okay, let me. So yeah, definitely do a little research and make sure you really want the home gym. And then also just, buy pieces that complement your training style. Um, don't just go buy something just because Coop said so. Really put some thought into it. Think about some pieces that really going to complement your training style and help you reach your goals in lifting.
yeah, man, that rings so true. And I think that's one thing that, having a home gym does best is, man, you can make it whatever you want it to be. Like
Right.
if you want to log press and jump rope, like you can make a home gym for that. Like if you want to, I don't know, do burpees and be a CrossFitter, like you can do that. If you want to power lift, you can do that. Like you
Exactly.
can tailor the space, and that's something that you can't get with a commercial gym. Like they might have a lot of what you want, but you're always going to be like, hey, like it would be cool if they had that. It would be cool if they had this or that. Like you don't
Mhm.
have to do that with a home gym. It's obviously it's limited to your budget, but
Right.
beyond that, you can tailor it exactly like you want it to be. And you can make it, look exactly how you want it. If you want to have, six cringe edge lord flags with skulls on them, you can do that. So
Right.
that's really, if you want to, have ponies all over your wall, then hey man, you can do that too. I think that's really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And I don't think any gym that I've ever visited, at least in my area, had a belt squat. Um, I
Never.
hadn't even heard of a belt squat, a few years ago. So, that's something that I have in my basement that I probably can't find in a 10-mile radius of my house. So kind of interesting.
Right.
Um, so top three pieces in your home gym. Just your top, like, I don't know if they're just your favorite pieces or your most important pieces or even accessory pieces, cable attachments. I mean, you got a lot of good stuff over there. Uh, just kind of curious to what your favorite and most liked pieces are.
So number one, I'm definitely going to say my Rep PR 5000 B2. I mean, it is the backbone of my gym.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible piece, and like it's as sturdy as can be. I've I've dumped significant weight into it multiple times, and it hasn't flinched at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, you've seen that. Those aren't the most graceful moments of my lifting career, but this thing is still kicking, and
Yeah. That doesn't
it's
mean
just,
you're not trying, right?
yeah, no, if it's just such a beautiful piece, and I just love the way it looks and the way it sits in there. I'm trying not to get too emotional about my power rack. It's a beautiful piece. Now, I would say number two would be my deadlift bar. I mean, I would say that because you can get a power bar and you can do everything on that,
Right.
but pulling on a deadlift bar is a completely different experience. I wouldn't say it adds a ton of weight to your pulls unless you're pulling some astronomical weights.
Mhm.
Um, with the weights that I'm pulling, upper fives, low sixes, like it doesn't make that much of a difference, but the way it feels and the way it flexes when you pull on it,
Yeah.
it's like pulling on a slingshot bar. It's a really cool experience. So
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed my Ohio deadlift bar, and so I would definitely say that is one of my second, or that's probably my second most favorite piece. As far as thirds, I've got quite a few. I've got a quite a tie for thirds. I love my Ohio Power Bar. This is a cop out answer, by the way.
Yeah.
I love my Ohio Power Bar. It's a beautiful bar. I really like my FB 5000 with the fat pad. I enjoy that so much more than benching on a commercial gym pad.
Yeah.
Um, and it feels like benching on a couch. It's so comfy. And I love, even though I just bagged on them earlier, the deep dishes because they're awesome plates. They're beautiful. They make a beautiful sound when you put them
Yeah.
on the bar and clap them together. My wife hates it, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I can see
Um,
that. She probably hears it
yeah,
upstairs.
Oh man, she won't work out in here with me because when I put another plate on and it hits the other plate, it's obnoxious apparently. But you know what? It's beautiful to me. So
Yeah, they look really nice when you really get a bunch of them stacked on there. They're just all nice and shiny, and then yeah, the way they ring when you're hitting your lifts. Yeah,
great, man.
see why you
Great.
do it.
It's weightlifting ASMR.
Right? Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on the rep power rack. It's the same thing I have. I have a half rack style just to save some space. But yeah, I agree with you. I'd have to go also with the lever gym. I mean, that's kind of how I started my channel, covering some of the lever gym stuff. Really like that piece. It's been great for me, with my kind of smaller space, bringing a lot of versatility, a lot of machine movements. You got the lever arms, you got the low cable and the high cable, and just a lot of different stuff you can do on there. So that's up there as well. Um, and then I probably have to say the belt squat. The Rogue Rhino has been great for me. Specifically because of my injury history with my low back and stuff. It's been great for because before when I would hurt my back, I just like, well, I guess I can't do legs now. It's kind of how it was.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons I haven't progressed on my lower lifts like I should. And so the belt squat allows me to keep training if I do have those injuries, and I can just keep hammering the legs and rehab the back. So that's a big one for me. But so yeah, I'd say the power rack, the lever gym, and the Rhino. Me.
Those are great pieces, man. I'm jealous of that Rhino.
Yeah,
That thing is awesome. So, I mean, I have my Titan belt squad and it does the job, but that Rhino
I
looks
felt a
just
little ridiculous buying it for the base. I was like, I don't know, man. This seems a little over the top. And dude, I woke up one morning. My neighbor texted me. He's like, "Hey, there's a giant wooden crate outside in your parking space. Because I got a townhouse, right? I don't even have a driveway or anything. So they just dumped this thing. They didn't even like let me know or ring the doorbell or anything. So like it was sitting out there for several hours, and I was like, oh shit. So I had to go out there and just like break it down. And I'm like carrying all this crap in, and man, it was a pain to get that trolley tower down the stairs. Like I was doing it by myself, and oh my god, I'm lucky I didn't fall down the stairs with that. That'd have been a disaster. But yeah, that was an interesting experience, but I don't regret it at all. Though it's been an awesome piece for me.
Mhm.
And then next thing is kind of like a sleeper piece. So a piece that you feel that doesn't get a lot of attention, I guess, or a lot of recognition in the home gym community that you feel that might, help a lot of people out in their training. And I'll start with mine. I'm gonna have to go with the lever gym again. I think like Garage Gym Reviews has never covered it. I mean, I think a lot of people know about it, but it just doesn't. I don't think it gets the attention I feel that it should. Super versatile piece, like I said, and really something that I think would benefit a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. This is kind of a cop out because it definitely, is something that is talked about. But I would go back to the belt squat, like you
Yeah,
were just mentioning, because it can be used for multiple different applications. And especially the principal use of it, the squat, can be used for extra volume if if your back and your shoulders and all that get taxed with a barbell back squat. And so a lot of times I'll do, a few sets of barbell back squats. And then after I feel like my CNS has had enough of those,
yeah,
then I'll jump belt squat and it helps me get extra volume that I otherwise wouldn't be able to get.
yeah,
So it's almost an overload tool. I mean, it also helps you if you've had a back injury. What else, can you use when you have a back injury to still get a squat motion? And it's a very effective squat motion, by
yeah.
the
It
way.
really is.
Yours is probably even more effective than mine, but my Titan belt squat, it fires my legs up. I mean,
Yeah,
and with no pain or stress on the back. So I think it's just such a cool piece to help you develop your legs.
yeah,
If you do have an injury or if you just, frog your CNS and you need to get extra volume. So I know you have one, I know I have one and I've enjoyed it. And I know that, our guy Home Gym Hacks and our guy Gorecki both have them and they both
absolutely.
squat. So I think that a belt squat is a piece that a lot of people say, hey, it takes up way too much space and it doesn't do that much. Like, yeah, I get that, but what it does is incredibly valuable. So if you do have the space, I would highly recommend one. So
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
No, I don't feel like that's a cop out at all because, I mean, I think they're getting a little more attention these days than they did, a year or so ago. But especially with the Rhino, yeah, I guess. And but Titan just put theirs out a couple years ago, right? Like they haven't been out that long either. So yeah, definitely slept on it. Like I said, with my injury history and stuff, it's really kept me training, and it's been super valuable to me. So, and then what else we got? Okay. So, what do you think the biggest home gym innovation of 2022 was? I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of companies kind of hitting the scene, um, some new products and stuff. What do you think was the most innovative of 2022?
So I'm going to go for low hanging fruit on this one too and say the Aries. I mean, whenever you can incorporate a cable functional trainer, system into a rack, that's an incredible, engineering feat. And it's something that, really, it was revolutionary, I would say. I mean,
Absolutely.
who else has really talked about something like that? I mean, I know you have your Force USA racks with your, pulleys, but, I've heard that they are they're okay, but they're not the best, So I think
Right.
it's really cool that Rep did that and they made not only a rack with a functional trainer system, but a functional trainer system that can be added onto your existing rack.
Right.
So you don't have to buy them as a package deal. And I think that that is so cool. So I would say I would give, I guess, second place or also consideration to Bells of Steel's Hydra series.
Mm.
And I don't remember what the 3x3 1 inch hole version will be
Right.
called, but I think that that's very cool that they directly made a rack that was comparable to a Rogue Monster Light, but at a cheaper price, and I think that that is super cool because that's one thing right now with, a Rogue and a Rogue versus a Rep Titan rack where the attachments don't fit perfectly if it has a securing pin or anything like that.
Right.
So to bring that, and I think they have some really cool attachments like the Bulldog pad, looks really cool for the Hydra series. And I believe in one of Gluck's, like in one of their videos one of their videos that they toured that Bells of Steel compound, and I want to say I saw a rack mounted leg extension leg curl, which is, it's cool. I think Titan has one right now, but,
Yeah.
the fact that they're making things like that, I feel like that is going to move forward. And if all the ideas don't hit, some of them will. And so I think that'll really help the space moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree with you on the Aries. I think that was probably the coolest thing. I mean, you get, low row, you get your pull down, you get your functional trainer all without taking
Oh yeah.
any extra space at all in your home gym. It's pretty pricey, but man, it's probably worth it. I'm seriously considering one myself. Um,
Don't you dare, man! I'll be so jealous.
I'm right, maybe tax time, maybe.
I hear you. I hear
But
you.
it's really pretty awesome product. I love what Rep's been doing, man. They've been killing it. So, and then kind of moving on from that, what's your most anticipated thing of 2023? I know, like Rep, they haven't really announced anything yet. They kind of have a few things showing you that they're coming out with something on their website, but they don't give you any idea. Is there anything you're looking forward to, or you just kind of happy with your space right now and not really in the market for anything new?
There are always things you can upgrade, Carter. You know this
Mhm.
very well.
Right.
One of those things would be a selectorized lat low row. Whenever I can pull that one off,
Yeah.
but I would say going back to again the Bells of Steel power rack line, the one that's 3x3 tubing with 1 inch holes in
Yeah.
hardware.
Right.
I'm very excited to see what they can put out, because I wouldn't mind having something like a bulldog pad to do chest supported rows. I love that movement.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. I will say, and I mentioned it in one of my last videos, that on Coop's tour of Reps HQ, they had a set of offset J hooks that they were teasing. And man, if somebody could make an offset pair of rollers, that would be so cool. But yeah, being a taller guy, and you probably can't see it, but I scratched some skin off my pinky today re-racking a heavy squat.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It'd be very nice to have a set of offset J hooks. So there are a lot of things that I'm very excited about. But that Hydra Big Brother series from Bells of Steel, that's one to really keep an eye on, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I was thinking, I don't know if you've seen Bulletproof Fitness on Instagram. They've been making some pretty cool stuff. They don't have a lot of stuff available yet, but they I think their first product was the isolator, which I bought one. I'm waiting on it right now. But they also have something called the posterior chain developer, and this thing like does it all. Like it's reverse hyper. I think it's a GHD. It's a back extension. It's got T-bar rows. It's got all kinds of stuff. Check out that Bulletproof Fitness on Instagram. Really cool stuff. I'm really excited about that because I could get rid of my, I guess, reverse hyper and GHD, and it'd probably take up about the same amount of floor space, but then add more exercises. Like I really like doing seal rows, like chest supported rows.
Yes.
Give my low back a break, but the setup time. Uh, it takes a long time. When I want to do the seal rows, or even if it's with the lever gym, like I'm finding I'm taking a lot of time to set up, and it really kind of just takes too long. I'm trying to like bang out these workouts and get them done. So I think that would bring a lot of versatility to the home gym space. I'm pretty excited about those.
Bulletproof Fitness, you're probably not watching this, but if you can pull that off, that would be clutch.
Yeah.
If everything functions well and it's not just like everything is serviceable kind of thing, like that would be so cool.
Yeah. They also got like some rack attached like lever arms, like for pendulum squats and stuff like that. They got some really, really cool stuff. I don't know if this guy just like makes everything in he has a huge home gym, by the way, but he's just got some really nice stuff and really nice manufacturing, and it's really cool stuff. Just check it out. But
Nice job, man. That's awesome.
yeah, that's all I got though, man. I really appreciate you joining me, dude, for this little chat. We should do it again sometime, man.
Absolutely, we will do that because you're pretty awesome. And so very glad that you had me on for this little talk, and really enjoyed the topics that we covered. So look forward to doing it again in the future.
Cool, man. Well, you guys make sure you, if you're not subscribed to Phillip's channel, Baby Giant Barbell, make sure you check that out and give him a subscribe. Yep. Appreciate you, Phillip. I'll talk to you later, man.
See you later, man.
All right.